I didn't ever expect to be back in home services. I thought we were going to go a different direction with tech. I mean, our company's powering the Super Bowl the last 3 years. If you go to like an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code, they put you on the Jumbotron. That's our stuff. During COVID, when NBA had the bubble and WWE Wrestling had all the fans, we powered all that.
What's the clearest way you can explain the value of AI to an owner or a manager or a frontline employee who's skeptical or feeling overwhelmed about it?
I understand it's a little scary for some of us, but the longer you wait to do this, you're going to be left in the dust.
What would you recommend someone do as like their first step into it? Like, okay, I've heard everyone tell me I need to be doing this. The message has been received, but I just don't know where to begin.
There's so many different ways to start. I mean, the first way you can start is just go to your, a Gemini, a Grok, a ChatGPT. Just talk to it.
What are skill sets that the next generation of field technicians and even managers are going to need if our world is going to be so impacted and run by AI? Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Violand's GPS podcast, Growing Professional Skills, where we like to bring in people who have been part of the trades and talk about stories, what's working, what's not working, what can they bring to the entire community to allow all of us to get a little bit better at what we do. We talk a lot about mistakes. We talk a lot about successes. I've got two guests this week, which is pretty exciting. Our first one is our very own Miss Kelley Dolan, Violand Business Development Advisor, who's been in the restoration industry for a while, various roles, and has been at Violand now. What are we going to say, Kelley? 2 years?
Yeah,
About
let's
2
say
years?
2 years.
So she's going to be off of probation here shortly, and
In the next 3 years at least.
in the next 3 years, and then she could be full-fledged. So we're pretty excited about that. And of course, James Hatfield, who is the Chief Revenue Officer over at LiveSwitch. So thanks, James, for joining with us today.
I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to telling some stories and maybe even getting a little bit nerdy and talking tech.
Perfect. Well, let's talk about, you being a tech guy and being in a big business that's accomplishing an awful lot. And this is a podcast for people who are in the trades. So why don't we start there? Where did you get your start, and how did that get you to where you are today?
Well, I never expected to be in technology. I come from a blue-collar family. My father built our house that we lived in. I know how to work with my hands. And when I graduated, I started a painting and power washing company. That's what I thought I'd be doing the rest of my life, frankly. Just coming from service-based business, love home services. I had multiple crews, multiple businesses in home services, and that's where I thought I would stay. The only reason I ever switched was happenstance. As I was going and meeting with the bookkeeper, meeting with the accountant, they would speak English, and I didn't know what they were saying. I was one of those guys that became an accidental business owner, right? So I was like, that's probably not good. So I decided, hey, I'm going to put myself through business school while I'm running my businesses, and that really helped. And I actually met a guy who was running landscaping companies doing the same thing, but he happened to be more of a technologist, and he built this technology that solved the problem I had, which would read the income statement and balance sheet and tell it to me in plain language. I said, that is awesome. I love it. He's like, well, maybe you can try and sell it. And I was like, well, if it gets me off the ladder and it pays the bills, I'm open to it. And that changed everything for me. And that's how I got into tech. Just happenstance and networking, and it changed everything for me.
So where did it go when, say, you got into tech? Then at what point, what was the next step with that?
So when I transitioned to that company, I was helping to just get the word out, get it in the hands of home service folks and financial tech, and we took off. I mean, that company went from nothing to Inc. 500 for 3 years. We were one of the fastest growing companies in the U.S. for 3 years, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So that worked out pretty well. And from there,
that's a good
we
moment there.
transitioned. Yeah, it worked out. We transitioned into philanthropy. We got into and started a program called Inmates to Entrepreneurs. We put thousands and thousands of incarcerated minimum through our program, teaching them entrepreneurship, going into the jails. And that resulted in an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. So my partner's the star of that show. I can't believe he became from where we were to a TV star. I was like, great. But then we decided we were too young to hang up our boots. And instead of starting from scratch, we bought a company 5 years ago. And that's where LiveSwitch came around. But interesting following the bouncing ball from a ladder to finance to philanthropy to TV and now back to tech.
So tell everybody real quick, what is LiveSwitch and how is it changing businesses? How is it affecting the industry?
Yeah, maybe it might help to start with a story because I didn't ever expect to be back in home services. I thought we were going to go a different direction with tech. I mean, our company's powering the Super Bowl the last 3 years. If you go to like an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code, they put you on the Jumbotron. That's our stuff. During COVID, when NBA had the bubble and WWE Wrestling had all the fans, we powered all that. And so we power big companies, Department of Defense, all kinds of interesting things. And we got a little knock on the door from the chief of police in Washington, D.C. to reinvent the nation's 911 phone call. Now that everyone carries around 3 to 5 cameras in their pocket, we needed to come up with a way to tap into your phone with no app to download, citizens compromised, and now you can point your camera at the situation and it will stream right to the police car, fire truck, or emergency medical so they can see what they're driving into. It's called situational awareness. And so it's wild, right? Because I just got into like, well, who else could use this no app, see what I see?
Mm.
And well, back to home services. I met a guy taking care of the Tennessee Titans NFL football team in Nashville, 20 years in the FBI. He's looking at our emergency response stuff. He's like, James, I got the stupidest question. What is it? He's like, can't I just text my guy across the arena when the trash cans fall over and he can show me so I don't have to hop in my little golf cart? Because that would help me a lot. And that's when my painting and power washing company came back. I was like, oh, this is like the Nextel walkie talkie, but for the eyes. I don't know what happened Nextel walkie talkie. I love mine, but that's where the big aha moment came about 3 years ago. And then we came in to home services because people need to be able to see jobs before they go out on site or connect with their technicians, save a trip in the truck, save gas money, speed to lead, all those things, 24/7 support, especially during loss or emergency. So it just starts to, oh, this really makes sense. And that's how we got started 3 years ago back into home services.
So you're talking to a guy from the Tennessee Titans. He wants to talk about garbage cans that fell over, and you're going, this is like painting houses. That's a unique skill set right there to be able to connect those different things. Now, I can take my phone and I can point it at something and it goes right to 911.
Yep,
Did you know that,
absolutely.
Kelley?
And without having to teach you anything, literally, you'll get a text, you tap it, we're in, and go. And it's all nerdy talk, SOC 2 certified. So it's super safe. It's actually safer than the phone call you're on.
Really? And all phones
Wow,
do this.
that's fascinating.
All phones with
Yeah.
cameras?
Yep. All we need is, only phone that won't work is a flip phone, right? But if you have a smartphone and you're connected, or even in some cases not connected, we have other ways to work around that. We can tap into your camera.
So let's talk about how you took that camera technology and brought it back to small businesses, especially direct labor in the trades, and then you started working AI into that and disrupting
Yep.
legacy workflows and changing the business. How were you able then to take AI and work this into the program, and how's that affecting companies right now?
Oh, AI is game changing. As an example, I was telling you guys about this earlier. This week, I have like a toy garage where I keep my mower. My wife went in there and she's like, "Oh, looks like there's something on the maybe growing on the wall." So she called a restoration company to come over and do mold remediation. Well, he comes down and I'm like, "Hey, before you go in there, let me send you a text and just start talking to through the camera what you're thinking, just as a technician." And imagine that you were doing this from you didn't even drive out here. You were back in your office, and I was your boots on the ground because it does remote assistance, right? So I'm walking through and he's talking through everything. I see this. I think I see this. We'll probably do that. We do this. And all this video is just going right to the cloud because videos are large, right? So we don't want to store them on device. And that's also kind of a liability. If you've got any photos, videos on your customer's device or on your device, it needs to be up in the cloud so you can own that. But what happens is we take that entire session when he was walking around my garage, we put it through big AI, and you can create whatever prompts you want. I created a mold remediation prompt. All right, look through everything, show me how to remediate it, give me the steps. And then we ran, and it takes all the photos, all of that video, even that live video we had, puts it through the system, and out came a 3-page report of exactly what needed to be done, even including the safety equipment you needed to wear when you did it.
Mm.
And The guy he was so blown away. He texted me the next morning. He's like, I'm buying this stuff. I can't stop thinking about it. So maybe that's my new marketing technique, right, Kelley?
Yeah, I have a flood. Yeah, if you start having mysterious floods like once a month, we're gonna have to ask some questions. Um, I want to just, you said something that I guess I didn't pick up on when we were talking about it before, but that it's you're still communicating with another human, right? So we're talking about like the beauty of AI and the beauty of working together and solving this problem and how impressed he was with what the product produced. But what I like, and maybe in my head, I maybe skipped right over it when we started talking about up to the cloud, stream, do all this stuff, is that it still needs the two of us to talk through this, right? It still needs you on site, or it needs somebody on site, and it needs somebody with some knowledge to double check what the product is coming out, which I find really fascinating because I think we're starting to drift into a way where people maybe with some specialty knowledge are starting to feel like the stuff I worked so hard on for years may not be valid anymore. And I think what you just said in that story seems to indicate that it is still valid, right? That we still need these human touch moments in this programming and this AI development.
Always. And it's even more unique in restoration because you have your customers that are experiencing loss. So
Mm,
maybe they accidentally burned the kitchen down. Not a good look. My wife would not be happy. You're feeling a little shame, a little embarrassment, or maybe like I'm in Asheville, we experienced Hurricane Helene, right?
yeah.
So I'm emotionally compromised, right? So having AI say, sorry, you burnt the kitchen down, or sorry, you just went through a flood of epic proportions is a little different than if Kelley were to see it and say, hey, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Don't worry, we've seen this before. We know what we're doing. And this gets into, restoration, it's expensive for a homeowner, right? Sometimes we forget, like, hey, I'm getting ready to spend a lot of money. So that higher touch, that higher level of customer experience really goes back. And also, restoration can be a repeat, recurring revenue business. So, and word of mouth. So, being able to really meet people where they're at when they're experiencing loss and having that, what I call virtual hug, is great. And then wrapping all of that with AI around it. It's kind of like your virtual assistant, your co-pilot, I affectionately call it I love Iron Man, your iron suit that's helping you as you're helping the customer and as you're going on site.
I think one of the things about AI that is so fascinating right now is the different degrees in which people are willing to accept it or understand it or utilize it. And you have a lot of people, majority of the people we work with don't want to touch it. They don't understand it, and it's scary. There's a lot of them that do pretty well with it. I don't know if anybody's figured it out completely yet, but what's the clearest way you can explain the value of AI to an owner or a manager or a frontline employee who's skeptical or feeling overwhelmed about it?
There's so many different pieces of value. First piece of value I think is most important is time savings, right? As fun as entering in all my information into the CRM is, it's never fun. And also, I can't remember everything. The older I get, the less I remember, right? And oh, I should have put that in there. So having AI watch all the interaction and create the notes and action items can also supplement any forgotten information because anything left in my head is a liability, right? I want to get that out. I want to get it on paper. And I also need to communicate that to my team, to my customer, sometimes to insurance. So it's helping to kind of cover your backside, right? It's helping the documentation. We know that raises the value of our businesses. If you ever go to exit it, having everything documented well, including your processes and recording everything is huge because all these videos are recorded. So the AI is going to expedite all of that information that you're implementing. It's also capturing information you may have forgotten, and then it can take it a step further, and your imagination becomes the only limit to what you ask AI to do. Like when I asked it to do the mold remediation plan, you can ask it to do sales coaching, right? So, or customer coaching or project management or how to be more efficient. And it also validates things. It's kind of like having an auditor with you at all times. And sometimes if you're second guessing yourself, it's like, oh yeah, I think that's probably it as well. Does AI get it right all the time? No. But it's like having a partner in crime with everything that you're doing at your side. So speed, documentation, affirmation, and then coaching. And it's allowing you to do more with your business. And it's not, don't think of it too much as like, oh, it's taking all our jobs. Think of it more as it's enhancing everything that we do and speeding up things because your customer doesn't like it when you screw things up. Callbacks cost you a lot of money, and we like things fast. I don't know if you guys are both Amazon Prime members, but I bet you are. And the only reason you have Amazon Prime is because you don't want to wait 2 weeks for your boxes. Now you want to wait 1 hour. So this time to have that speed is also a big part of it. So there's so much value, it's hard to even just wrap my mind around that. So I understand it's a little scary for some of us, but the longer you wait to do this, you're going to be left in the dust, and that's where you don't want to be.
What would you recommend someone do as like their first step into it? Okay, I've heard everyone tell me I need to be doing this. The message has been received, but I just don't know where to begin. What would you suggest as like a good habit or pattern somebody start to use to get used to using AI on the regular?
There's so many different ways to start. I mean, the first way you can start is just go to your, a Gemini, a Grok, a Chat GPT. Just talk to it. Just try to train it, then ask it to do things. Right? Just
Mhm.
play a little bit. Okay, I would start there. Then it gets to what I call the practical and tactical things of AI. We're baking these things into AI. We didn't have AI the entire time. The first step was to get people to send a text and you see what I see and do remote assistance.
Sure.
There's this onboarding, this adoption curve, right? And so now I'm coming alongside the work process that's already happening and wrapping that in AI and making it one click. Right? We love one-click stuff. I love my one-click Nextel walkie-talkie. I like one click to start my truck. I like one click to start up my paint sprayer when I have my painting company and power washing company, right? We want those one-click things. So as a business coach, right, Kelley, you could actually create your own prompts for AI, and then you can give them to your folks that you're coaching, and they can input that in the system. And now these are Kelley prompts. All
Hmm.
right. So you don't always have to be the one, and you can even talk to an AI and say, help me create prompts because
Yeah.
here's what I'm doing. Here's what I want to get. So it all kind of starts to work in a complementary fashion, but play with it first. Just play with it first. Right. And then once you find a couple of things that you can put in your process, you'll begin to trust it in the right way for practical and tactical help.
So how do you
Love that.
ensure that AI tools enhance trust and transparency instead of with the customers? That's so important in the whole purchase process and building the trust, the relationship. It seems like AI is going to replace that personal human side of the trades that's so important to what we do.
Right. AI, unfortunately, and well, maybe fortunately, AI, fortunately, will not be the one that cleans up the mess.
Mhm.
It might tell me how to clean up the mess and tell us what we need to do, but we still need to put our hands and feet on property and fix it ourselves. And that's where the ultimate trust is built when someone comes on property. And that's the big reason why we always started with human connection, with that text to connect live video. The face is the most trustworthy thing. So being able to see someone, we sell trust in restoration. You trust me to come to your house. You trust me to fix it the right way. You trust me to document it, to work with insurance, to work with my teams. So that alone is number one. The AI coming around it will be enhanced in trust by when the experts, like someone like Kelley, who's been in the business since the dinosaurs, right? As I heard, right, can look at that report and say it's nailing it right there, or just getting her red line out. Right. Maybe it gets her 80%, 90% of the way there. Now she can enhance it. Right. Get me to the 1 yard line and then we'll do the Eagles tush push and get the touchdown. Right. So that's what we want, is that trust to be built from the experts. And then Kelley can turn around and tell people, you can trust this report right here. It's going to get you X number of weight there, and you finalize it. It comes through that, just like any adoption. When any new technology comes out, if Kelley likes it, maybe it's good enough for me. And then I turn around and say, hey, I'm using this. And then now it's just commonplace. You're going to find that saying that you use AI in your business is like saying that you have electricity in your business. It'll just be comical. It'll
Yeah.
happen in the next year or two.
Thank you for listening to Violand's GPS podcast. I hope you're finding valuable insights and practical wisdom to guide you on your journey. Violand's 2025 business planning retreats offer an unparalleled opportunity to drive growth and align your service-based business for success in the coming year. These retreats will be held October 22nd through the 24th in Canton, Ohio, and November 10th through the 12th and 13th through the 15th in Charlotte Harbor, Florida. Create clarity, improve communication, and foster accountability. Receive coaching and guidance to help you develop a customized strategic plan, marketing strategy, and financial pro forma, including KPIs and benchmarks, as you budget and forecast expenses and growth. Explore emerging trends and opportunities that can be leveraged to maximize your business's potential. Don't miss out Register today at Violand.com or use the links provided on the screen or in the description. Now, let's get back to our show.
First, I have to address the Nextel talk to push because you're giving me like visceral, like, oh my gosh, I miss Nextel sometimes too.
That was the first cell phone I had. John Monroe bought me that thing. Yeah, it was built like a brick.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were, yeah, you could like do some damage with those Nextel radios. They were a lot of fun. Um, I love the idea of you just saying like it's going to feel like electricity because I feel like I'm there already where it's like despite years in the industry, despite knowledge I may have in my soul at this point, there's so much I don't know. So I'm constantly checking myself as well of just like, let me make sure like I'm even thinking along the right path here. And then sort of the push it gives me to ask another question or to think a little bit deeper about it, I feel like has really helped me in the last few months kind of expand the way I think about using it, right? The more confident I got in my ability to use it, the better I started using it. But that came through, like anything else, I had to learn and get used to it. So I'm glad you're saying just go in there and play because nothing's going to happen. Like you're not going to burn down the internet. Just get in there and play because this is gonna be like electricity eventually. This is gonna be like Wi-Fi. Gosh, remember when Wi-Fi was like the fancy new thing that we all had?
Wasn't that going to
And
kill
now
us
it's
at
like
one
if we
point?
don't,
Thought we were all going to get cancer or something from Wi-Fi at one point.
yeah, now it's like in public parks. Like you're outside and you have Wi-Fi, right? Like you don't have to be sitting on top of the Wi-Fi. Like I remember we had like 6 in our office. That wasn't very big, right? Because it didn't carry very far.
Yeah.
And now the concept of not having Wi-Fi is crazy to us. It's going to get to the same place, and the people who jump on it, embrace it, are going to be that much further ahead.
Yeah. And once you get to that, the next thing we have to be thinking about is the documentation, right? AI needs input to be able to work. Okay. So being able to document everything you do as fast as possible is the next thing. So right now, a lot of people are interacting with AI, typing to it. It's a very slow way to get data, right? And it's only one dimensional, right? So having multi-dimensional data into the AI is going to help. And when I say multi-dimensional, I mean, when I'm talking right now, that's an input that AI can put against the model, right? When I have video, when I have photos, when I type to it as well, when I start to have Bluetooth data, GPS, think of all kinds of things that you can start to implement it, and it gives it that just a bit more dynamic information back to you. Because the more you can feed these big data models, the better outputs that you're going to get. So we want to go and get and capture as much photos that you've been capturing, video, people typing things in. You want as much of that because then you can take all of your data, put it into the models, and this is how you do it, and it becomes the way that your business does that work. So that's the next big moat that for technology is the data moat. So being able to capture that's really going to help.
You mentioned earlier that AI doesn't always get it right. So what are some tips or strategies you have? How do I know when it gets it wrong?
Sometimes you won't if you're ignorant, right, of what it's telling you. Like if you have blind trust, you might actually take it as fact,
okay,
right? Hence why we need expertise in case restoration, home services, the trades to keep everything honest, right? And once we can do that and train up the model, then it can train and look for those errors. But the only way to really keep it in check is to have an expert keep that in check. That's why we still need the people.
Okay. So if I own a small or medium sized business in the trades and I've got people working for me that are ops or office managers and they don't have that technology background, what's some strategies I can use to roll out AI within the business without overwhelming my employees?
Right. It's finding the AI pieces that are easy to use with one button touch. Remember I was talking about earlier how Kelley could create the prompts for her team, and now all her team has to do is hit the go button. Right? They don't need when I hit the start button on my truck, I don't need to know how all the engine, all the computers underneath work. I just start the truck and we go. I hit here's the gas, here's the brake, there's the wheel. Let's roll. So making sure the training is to make sure that her team is capturing the right information, interacting with the customers in the right way, and just wrapping all of that with recording and technology around it. So that way her team doesn't have to think that much, just has to remember, oh yeah, now I click this button that runs a mold remediation plan, or I click this button that tells me how I could have interacted with. Now I click this button, that'll do all my documentation for me from that and document all the work that I did in my CRM. And now you're saying, hey, you know that 20 minutes you spend after every call documenting all the information, it's going away. I think they're going to be like, thank you, right? And wow, that really saved me a bunch of time. And saving people time and making their jobs and business process easier is you're going to get a lot more smiles than you are going to get those frowns and frustration, especially since you're not taking them into some brand new system that they got to spend 3 weeks in and going back to school just to learn that. That's tough. And some of our software systems, we have to do that. But like in our software system, I can teach you to use our stuff in 2 to 3 minutes. If you can send a text, you can use our stuff. If you can hit a button, you can use our stuff. So we're really trying to create things that, because I used to be on the ladder, I understand like this is what I guess my people like, we don't want it to be over engineered. The problem is engineers, computer scientists build stuff for home service. I don't ask my home service folks to go in and code for them, right? But you got to know. I always make fun of my coders. Like, you guys all have soft hands. You never spend a day on a ladder. So you got to have some kind of what they call product management, user interface in between from somebody who understands like, hey, this is what we need it to do.
So I get it. I get it set up. I've got the right prompts in there. I've spent a little bit of time with my people, and I expect them to start using this thing. But I don't know if it's producing wrong information all of the time. I don't know to what level they're comfortable or able to use it. Are there any types of KPIs or metrics that I can track to make certain these initiatives are working?
Yeah, I think when you can't track everything, you want to track a few things, right? So like even when you see these big factories, they don't check every widget coming out the thing. Then eventually they do. They have things that check it all in technology, but usually what they'll do is they'll take sample sizes from around and then go in there and spot check it, because where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So if you go in there as the owner, check a few places of the process. If you see missing holes, hey guys, remember to do this. It's like with any new business process that you're putting in. Eventually, in the beginning, they forget sometimes. Towards the middle, and then they do much better once it's just part of the process. So make your document it part of the process as well, and making sure. And we're always talking about how there's a great book called "Making Money is Killing Your Business." If you've ever heard of it, I love that book, and it talks about what's called freedom mapping. And freedom mapping is at a very high level, take your entire process that can fit on one page, and then in each step of the process, when I double click into it, I've got that process of this is how we do it. And I have the people that are closest to the data manage that process. So make it better, own it. It's dynamic and living. It's all written down. And what does this happen? This starts to put a system into your business. So when you lose people or you gain new people, they come in, they know that process. And again, if you ever go to exit your company, you have just really jacked up in a good way the price of your. There's value to this. It might be mind numbing at first, and you might be like, oh my goodness, this is the last thing on the planet I want to do, until you go to exit your business and your future self will thank you in your wallet.
Yeah, I love to think about the on the business and the proactive stuff that this can help us be doing. That is like, it's always the lowest priority because it's the last thing we want to work on, right? And service industries, we're so focused on the customer, the end result, delivering good product, having good customer service, that it's like, I'll get to my processes later. Like, I'll figure that out. And like, now it's like, you can have this conversation with your phone, with your computer, with somebody else and have it be recorded, right? Like, you can talk through it and it will help you create and map that out. And I have a few clients, like, SOPs have been on the map for a long time, right? Like, we need to get this done. We need to understand our process. And it's like the leaps and bounds they've been able to make on that thing they've been stuck on for so long has been a 6-month project is now wrapping up in 2 months because they're like, I am the expert giving this data. And then my team is working with me to fix this and comb this and make it accurate. Right. And it's been a game changer for a few people I work with regularly.
And now what you can do with our system is you literally can take the phone out of your pocket, hit the record button, and watch that process being done, talk to that, and have everything, and then have the AI prompt, hey, write out our process, and then return that to us. Yeah. You're now, the more you can walk around with your phone and your camera and talk about everything you're doing, every process, and then have it, hey, document that process. You can take it, copy, paste it, and put it into your larger process documentation. So
Right, pull it right out of an actual job.
yeah, and this is where the AI is like, wow, that took something that took me hours to do is now taking me. I just had to pull out my camera and watch my team do it. That's where the AI starts to have those magic moments in your business.
Mm.
So it seems like, for as complicated as these things are, there's new ones popping up, new AIs popping up all the time. And it seems now that every billionaire or tech whiz kid out there wants to develop their own AI. It's like back in the 70s when every billionaire wanted their own airline to own. So if I'm new to this, how do I know who to use?
I have a thing in my business called a board of directors, right? Some of us might have masterminds. Some of us might have a coach, right, Kelley?
Mm-hmm.
Go and find people and surround yourself with people, including, the scary vendors that want your credit card. The good ones will actually be a advocate for you, and you'll put them on your mastermind board of advisors. Like I started coaching for different networks right now because I used to do that. Yes, I'm the vendor on there, but I have run businesses before. Been in the home services. You surround yourself with other owners, other operators, coaches, masterminds. Spend that time, and that's how you can avoid the booby traps. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's already someone in your industry 3 or 4 steps down the chessboard, and they can teach you and avoid costly errors, costly expenses, and help you with that. So, yeah, if you want to be the do-it-yourselfer, go figure it out. I mean, you're going to spend a lot more time, a lot more money, and you might even get frustrated and throw your hands up.
Do you have, especially with LiveSwitch, do you have examples? You don't have to name names, but do you have examples of people using AI, using your product, and were able to do some of that stuff that you and Kelley were just talking about creating these SOPs and something that was game changing to their company?
Oh yeah, I have thousands and thousands of users now in all different industries, right? And I've got big name brands, in the restoration, the Paul Davises and the Serve Pros are already using this stuff, right? And so are mom and pops. We have a lot of mom and pops using this as well. This is not just for, in fact, our mission statement is empowering small businesses and entrepreneurs because my co-founders with me and my partners, we all used to be them. So if I can empower, especially the mom and pops, those self-stars where I was, for me, that's where it gives me the most gratitude. But this stuff is being used all today, like now all over the place. And more ideas are coming out and things that are just blowing my mind every day. My mind gets blown. You can use this when you're hiring people, right? So you can record the entire of just an interview, run it through AI and ask it to score it based on what you hire for, what you like, and give me a score. I mean, your imagination, my imagination is the boundaries of what you can do with these things. And you just have to write to it. You just talk or write to the AI and prompt it with the more detailed of what you want to see it do. Sometimes the better it goes. You can start implementing your own processes, your own prices. You can give it as much as you want. And eventually you're going to see it start to create bids automatically for you, worksheets that your team works through. You name it, it's going through, and our stuff is being bolted under the hood already. We're under the hood of ServiceTitan, we're under the hood of Jobber, Job Nimbus, HubSpot, House Call Pro. Like we're already under there because we're one of the few companies on the planet that do live video, also with AI. Both live video is the most unique thing we do. Actually, AI is back to electricity. It's the live video component that makes us. That's our Coca-Cola recipe.
So for somebody that's been using AI for, last 6 months or year or whatever, and they've got a pretty good understanding of it and they can do the stuff that we're talking about. Let's go next level with it. What's some of the more creative things you're seeing from your clients that they're accomplishing with AI?
Okay, this is not the sexier side of it. They're starting to centralize it in places, right? Like you can put it all into, a Chat GPT or a Grok or a Gemini, but you're going to find that is not always the best place to keep everything and help pass it along to other people in your business. You're going to want to find a way that it connects into your systems and tools. So system integration is becoming more and more of what's coming next. So I don't have to look at 8 different programs. There's not going to be one system to rule them all. That is not going to happen. But what can happen and what the forward-thinking companies are doing is they're opening up their API. It's very nerdy talk. It's just saying different systems can talk to each other, and that way, what I do in one system updates the other system, right? And so wherever I go, I can connect into that. So putting together and integrating your system is really where folks are going next. And it's just the undergirdings. The AI is there. It's now making it more accessible. And then obviously we talked about different prompts and different things, but getting it all connected is the next big push for everything. Like I was on with another AI company, and they do a lot of where the agent will pick up an AI agent and best practices around that. Because one things we use a lot on is QR codes, and we have them as leave behinds or as ways when staff. So imagine you want to be proactive before the storm comes, before the loss happens. I want to send out marketing material that says automate whenever disaster strikes. Let's get your help faster. Scan this QR code, take the video, walk us through what's going on. Now the video goes up to the cloud. AI analyzes it, enhances the AI agent. So then the person can talk to the AI agent. Because one of the worst things that can happen when you're experiencing loss at 10 p.m. and you call and nobody answers. All right. And I do a lot of secret shopping so that if your AI agent can be the first one to pick up, you're capturing that lead, and you do not be sneaky with AI. That is not a good move. That actually destroys trust. Let your AI agent come right out and say, "Hey, I'm AI agent for Kelley. Tell me about what's going on," right? It's connecting all those pieces together. And at any point in time, if you need a human, you ask for them like representative, and you give it to them as fast as you can, right? But if you can have AI helping alongside, and more and more people become comfortable with this, it's not going to be like calling into a call center somewhere or the trees that people are used to. This is enhancing to a place where you can choose your voice of your AI agent. It's incredibly intelligent, and if it can fix it, that's what people really want at the end of the day, is to fix it. And then when they get pissed off or when they're ready to buy, they want a human connection. So your AI agent can understand where those high value touches are and to get your people in front, because your people are also the most expensive thing you pay for as a business owner. So we want to be leveraging our team at the right times, at the right places. So it all kind of works together in harmony.
Yeah, we have a client in Tupelo who has an AI agent that answers the phones now, and they've actually trained it to have a Tupelo accent so that you can't tell the difference, like specific
That's so
to Tupelo.
fun.
Yeah, it says honey and all those words all the time. So how long? Let's say I own Jeff's Restoration, and I have an AI agent, and it's fantastic, and it's doing all of the stuff that you just described. How far away are we from my AI agent battling the insurance company's AI agent for the next 3.5 weeks for me trying to get paid?
Probably not too far away.
Is that where it's
You
going?
don't think we're
already
there
happening.
now?
Is this
Yeah.
industry gonna turn into a battle of AI agents?
Yeah, I think so in some ways, right? And so that's when the next layer will come in, when things are bound up, and that's when the humans come back in, right? So there's certain layers of defense, right? That things that are just automated and easy, things that are a little more complicated, but now it's figuring out. And then when things get bound up, just the pissed off meter. When someone gets pissed off enough, that's when humans, or when someone's got a big check they want to write, insert the humans, right? Um, that's when we just want to. I want my team to be on the highest value things in the business, right? And if the low other things can be solved and my customers are happy or my insurance companies are happy, then everyone's happy, then that's great. And it's automated. I just go sleep on the couch, that's kind of some things that we want at times. But we want our systems to be efficient. We want just keep the business going. But yeah, it's already happening, that Kelley said, that these systems start, battling each other. But it's going to get even more interesting from here, right? So the things that I'm really excited about is right now we walk around with our phones, and we will for quite a bit longer. But the next place that these cameras are going are on your face. Like where Kelley's got her glasses and I got my glasses, they're starting to insert video cameras, microphones, and data. And now I can stream that through, and making sure as my co-pilot back to the Iron Man suit that I'm doing things to code, right? So I don't burn the house back down again, right? So these are the things that I'm super excited about, as well as being able to work more and more hands-free with this stuff.
One of our coworkers just got a pair of glasses. He's trying it out first time next week to help him with presentations. So it's a pair of glasses that will show him his notes, show him what his talking points are, all on the inside, so he doesn't need, so he's got a layer of removal on the presentation side of like the notes bar and having your prompts and having these things that'll be doing it for him in his glasses. So not
Hey,
quite the Google Glass scenario, but yeah.
we're big on culture here. That's most of what we do when we're working with one of our clients is somehow culture related. They want it all to be systems related, but usually it comes back to culture and developing the individuals who can then do the other things that we need done. So you're in a world where you talk about having a lot of programmers or coders, and those aren't people that are typically thought of as very strong in the soft skills. And a lot of times you've got frontline workers who may not want to be very strong on the soft skills. They just want to get in there and paint the house or dry the room. So in your case, how do you create a company culture that embraces experimentation, that embraces use and implementation and sitting there and messing around with AI for an hour trying to learn it when your employees might be hesitant for that? What are tips to get them excited?
Yeah, you wanna make sure you got the right people on the right seat in the bus, right? When you probably have some folks that you send out there in operations, they're on the job, and they don't even wanna talk to customers. They just wanna get in there and fix things, get it better. So, what do you do in that case, right? Well, that's back where one of our core competencies comes in, live video, right? So now you can arm your folks with a tablet. They can walk in with their tablet, and even if and they can just literally hit a button and it'll go back to customer success, customer care, or their project management, and the customer can talk to the person in customer success while the other folks are on property doing what they want to do. So back to the culture, like who's got the best culture? Who's best with the customers? Who does the best follow up? You can start using these type of live video tools to connect in that way. And that's just the customer side, right? When the person's on property, maybe they're junior and they're new, now
Mm.
they're getting frustrated. They can tap into a senior technician and they can help out. So getting people help, it's different. The culture kind of weaves in different ways, but you start to layer in all of these live video instances, and that can really help advance these things outside of just what we've been talking about for a while, AI.
So now I've got these technicians and I'm wanting to get ready for what's next. And at some point, my AI agent's going to be fighting the insurance company's AI agent. And I still need those people involved with it. And I need those technicians to have maybe different skills than what we focus on. Right now, we're just focusing solely on technical, but everybody's got that. So what are skill sets that the next generation of field technicians and even managers are going to need if our world is going to be so impacted and run by AI?
I think consistency is always huge with whatever businesses that we have. And so being able to transfer communication to people. So, as an example, if someone's experiencing loss, they call up, they interact with our dispatch, our sales teams, whoever it might be. They embrace those folks, they get everything done, they got everything on paper. Here's what we're going to do. And we transition that to the technical team that's going to, be on property fixing it. Customers don't want to repeat themselves again.
Mm.
Like customers just they want things to be fixed quickly, fixed the right way, write the checks, be our guest, right? My kids would love that, right? The Beauty and the Beast thing. So like as we transfer communication from team member to team member, we have that consistency in how we do that and that accountability, right? Hey, dispatch and sales, stop selling world peace. Like we don't do that here, or we want to make sure that it feeds both directions, not just down the line, but back up the line of things that can be done better. And so I think really as people get on property, as we're serving people, teaching people how to not only fix the problems correctly. If you're wrapping it in AI, we're also getting that co-pilot to make sure we don't have a callback because nobody wants to do that. Your business doesn't want to do that. Your customer doesn't want to have you back out. So we want to fix it right the first time. But it's consistency, it's accountability, it's accuracy, it's all these pieces that come together and just help your business become more efficient and more flawless across the board. And that's the layer of technology and training of the people and enhancing of the people. So there's a lot of that in the gumbo there that I was stirring up, but these are the things that I think is what's next, and the fruits of all this labor that we're doing.
Do you think if you were able to hop in your DeLorean and go 88 miles an hour and jump 10 years into the future and went to a job site in the trades, would it be recognizable to you? Or is it going to be that much different?
I think there's going to be things that will be very recognizable. I do think that there's going to be always an element of human connection that is needed, especially when someone's going through loss. I think in 10 years, when someone burns the kitchen down or the kitchen burns down, they'll be just as pissed off as they were 10 years ago, 10 years prior. We're always going to be pissed off when, the flood comes. We're still going to have feelings. Like we're going to still feel, right? So there's going to be some things that are just going to be consistent towards being human and humanity. Our tools will probably look a lot different in 10 years. How we interact to get help will probably look very different in 10 years. How we drive to get there or not drive to get there will look different. And all of the things that I think we can already connect the dots now that we've got the cars driving themselves. I can imagine the service vehicles will be a mobile service vehicle, right? Where if I have a person who forgot some parts or like crap, I forgot my team doesn't want to take 2 hours to drive back to the warehouse to get the extra set of fans to drive back. Have the vehicle show up, that I can print in. That'll
Night
just bring
Rider.
those fans for you that I forgot. So I think it'll look similar in emotional and feelings and people. We might have different haircuts and different classes and stuff on, but whatever. You get the point. I do think it will look different in a lot of cases, but similar in others.
You said something that's been fascinating me lately as we I think coming into this age where we're all like, you see people now walking down the street and you think they're on a phone call, like talking to their phone. Half the time, some of those people may actually just be talking to their AI, right? We're entering this interesting stage where we're spending a lot of time talking to these bots, these robots, to increase our ability to interact with humans, right? Like we're building this weird self-perpetuating machine where we're taking a removal step to move forward a step. It's like two steps forward to go, or two steps backward to go one step forward. And especially, I think coming out of, I'm going to still reference COVID as an opportunity. Like we've got a whole generation of folks now who spent a lot of time removed from people while they were developing these critical social skills, right? And we're doing a lot of that one step away. It's so fascinating to me that we're saying in 10 years' time, the thing that we're going to need to set ourselves apart and be successful is our ability to emote and interact and connect and show emotion to the people that we want to do business with, right? Which we say now, you do business with people you like. How much more critical that may become and how much harder we may need to work to skill people to get there, I think is like fascinating. Little insight to the psyche that I've got going on these days.
She's an HR, if you can't tell.
Sorry, yeah, I'm a people person. Yeah, sorry.
That's a good thing.
So let's bring it back to LiveSwitch. We've talked to the audience and we've explained kind of the entry level of AI and how to get started with it. We got into more creative ways that people are using it now. And then we went into the future and the possibilities that might be out there on future job sites. So if I was to go get LiveSwitch right now and implement it in my business, and it's going to allow me to capture live video and it's layering AI into all of the video streams and automating job documentation and summarizing estimates and all the other different things. But what else am I going to get? Explain to me what all I get from being a LiveSwitch user.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get surrounded by our people. We have 24/7 support. We hop in there with you because we talk to thousands and thousands of people using this. We can give you the workflows and the things that are already working because you're not a crash test dummy or a guinea pig. You're down the line of many people already using this. So we're going to get to know you and your business, and then we're going to create a rollout plan that makes sense at the speed that your company moves for the type of customers that you serve. We affectionately call it crawl, walk, and run. And crawl usually will look like a text to video connect during your 24/7 coverage. When somebody says, it's DEFCON 5 over here, show it to me. Nope. Just turn the water off. We'll be there in the morning.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
You're okay. You're not going to float away.
You're not going to float away. So we're going to start, there with that live connect, whether it's with your operational team internally or whether it's directly with your customers. We're then going to talk about how to capture your current customer base and future customer base, understand where you're trying to go. A lot of our restoration companies, they want to do more commercial work, or a lot of folks want to just keep expanding in certain areas of the neighborhood that they work in, or community that they work in. So we're able to get and help them with some marketing, help them with the QR coding, because that's really important. You're going to see a great race for QR codes. There'll be QR codes for electricians on the breaker box, for HVAC on the unit, on plumbers there, for restoration on the fridge, like front and center. Put it in the kitchen, put it where the damage happens, right? And so we want to get ahead of that. So that's the next place we're going to go. Then we're going to get on-site documentation, like teaching those on-site teams how to really cover their butts, do their walk-arounds, and then again, we will help you with AI prompting and doing that as well. But we're going to crawl, we're going to walk, we're going to run, and you're going to get a team around you from our end that's going to help support you in that. And we take an active approach with our customer base as they implement this.
If somebody wanted to get a hold of you and have this conversation about their business, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah. One, LinkedIn. Just look for James Hatfield. Go to look up James Hatfield LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch. Reach out to me. I make promise to this team here that you'll get me. I'll make time for you. I've been a business owner. We don't even have to talk tech at all. Talk about business if you like. Or you can just go to liveswitch.com, click on demo. You'll get one of our great team members to help walk you through everything. Put your hands on technology, try it, see it for yourself, and we can kind of take you down that path if you're interested in learning more. But yeah, we're easy to get.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on the Violand GPS podcast. Very enlightening. Obviously, you know your stuff. Great. You ever in a million years think that you'd go from painting houses to talking about what you're talking about right now?
No. And my grandfather would roll over in his grave like, "You're doing tech. I told you, son, to paint the houses and stay in painting. What are you doing?"
That's right. And the good thing is there's going to be plenty of room in this world for both sides of that coin. So.
And yeah, someone who knows both and can execute on both, that's golden.
That's pretty nice. Is there anything else you want to leave out to the audience before we sign off here? Some advice?
Yeah, I want to give a challenge.
Yeah.
I want to challenge you to not be a dead end. I want you to challenge you to be a relay racer. Okay, a relay racer is someone who learns something and gives it. And meaning, take this podcast, not even this episode. Don't you worry about me. It's not about me. All right, it's about your industry. It's about the people. It's about not being a dead end. And I bet most people won't do it. Prove me wrong. But like, go and share about this podcast with one other person, one other colleague. Put it on your Facebook or LinkedIn, or a person you met at a conference, or a neighbor. Like, share this thing. Don't be a dead end. So that's my last challenge. If you found any value out of this, I'd ask that. That's the most important thing you could do.
I think that's fantastic advice. Well, thank you, Kelley, for joining us. Thank you, James. It was a pleasure. And we appreciate everybody who watched, and we'll see you again here shortly. Thanks, everybody.